we've got an obligation in these days and times to help young people make decisions. How we do that is a bit different than it used to be, I think. It's much more complex. What we're going to try to do with these folks is give you an idea of some of the things that they've done, some of the things that happens in their organizations. And again, we're focusing on healthcare and manufacturing tonight. But to give you a little bit of a sense of what happens organizationally and how we might be able to suggest we start to prepare for at least consideration of a career. Now, we all know it's really hard to make a decision tonight, or as an 8th grader or a 12th grader, regarding that's what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about acquaintance, we're talking about familiarization with careers, we're talking about matching passion with interest and opportunity. And that's part of that responsibility that Keith mentioned, that we go back to as parents. How do we help young people put those things together? Because as a young person, I sure couldn't do that, and I'm sure that most of our young people today can't do it either. Because I think as we start to think about 2-year versus 4-year, the differential here is changed a lot since the good old days when I was in school, when basically what we did in 2-year colleges was maybe auto body repair and secretarial training. I mean, which, Margaret, we remember that, right? A long time ago. There's an opportunity right now to move in career fields through articulation agreements and transfer from a 2-year program here to a 4-year program at NDSU or St. Cloud State, or pick a university. What are your thoughts in terms of that starting point? Good place to start 2-year, if indeed you start to match those interests and passions, even if it's in the general education area that allows you to begin to experience some of those kinds of things, or is it just necessary to jump right to a 4-year institution?
I'll talk to that a little bit. And in nursing specifically, we've just got such a great opportunity here in Alexandria. I mean, if you leave town, and nothing against the 4-year programs, but you take 1 or 2 years of generals, and if your grades are not high enough in that program, you may or may not even get into the program you want. We're here in Alex, we can ladder up through the LPN program to the RN program. You come out with your 2 degree, which is great, but if you choose, you can go on and get your 4-year degree probably through even an online program that you could stay in this area too. So I think there's much to be said about opportunities of getting your foot in the door.
Thanks. Margaret, anybody else respond to that?
Well, I'm just going to quickly add one thing, because we were talking about the cost of the and I have a 4-year degree, but for most of what I hire, besides engineering, most of what they need is a 2-year degree. And I can't tell you how many resumes I see where they have a 4-year degree, and they weren't able really to get exactly into what they wanted to do, and then they had to go back and get a 2-year degree after they had the 4-year degree so they could get into the career path that they actually decided they wanted to go into. So I see that often.
So let's talk a little bit about those people you hired, the kind of skills, because most of you started out in something that you're not doing today, and you took advantage of some of those opportunities for tuition reimbursement that I think every one of you talked about your company paid for once you proved to them that you were a valuable employee and they like to hold on to you, so that whole mechanism kicked in. What are some of those things that as someone comes to your organization and is interested in a potential starting career, what do you look for?
I can tell you that. We look for passionate people that are happy and smiling and have good work ethic. And I think the speakers talked about that too, people that will work hard. There's all kinds of opportunities, and I think one of the things that's neat about healthcare is if that's an interest that you have, there's all kinds of jobs that you can start at even while you're still in high school. You can work in dietary or housekeeping, or you can go to the program to be a CNA. And I would suggest really trying a variety of things that you find interest in, because you take away a little bit of something everywhere you work that helps you identify closer and closer to what you really want to be doing.
I'll add to that. I'm actually going to speak on this tomorrow to the juniors, so I actually have some notes on this. But when we hire people, the very first thing that we look for is character, and we've been talking about that too, that integrity, hardworking, the values. Because we know we can train people, but we want the values to be there. Passion, that's another thing, just that great attitude, people that are flexible. And then we are going to look for technical skills. We are going to look for people that have good math skills. We need that in our in manufacturing and in engineering, and that's where the technical schools come in great. You know, knowing decimals and angles, blueprint rating, those things that you learn in school, they are used in manufacturing. The willingness to learn that you're not done learning, that when you come into our company that you'll keep learning, and you can train other people, you're willing to do that. Also, I like to tell young people, if you can get an internship, get some experience while going to school, because that on a resume, that's something. If I have two people that have a degree, but one had an internship and one didn't, that is going to be the person that has the step up. And you want to build up your resume, even volunteer work. If I see someone that has some good they've taken initiative to go out and do some volunteer work, they'll have the step up too.